Yo, what is up, YouTube? We're back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about aiming and centering. A lot of people come to the stream and they ask questions regarding aiming, centering on a mouse and keyboard. And so we're going to be talking about that today, how to practice your aim. This also applies to controller. You do not have to be mouse and keyboard, but if you are, this video is definitely for you. If you're not, we're going to make little sections in the video so you can click around and know where to go if you want to skip some sections or if not. But anyways, we'll get into that in the video. If you do like it, make sure you drop a like in the comment. We'll see you there. Let's go. So firstly, I want to talk about centering. So centering in a gunfight means a lot. You could have really good aim and center badly and lose the fight because of it. So what centering is, essentially, is where you put your crosshair. You want to put it where people are going to be. Say there's somebody on the other side of this wall and I'm going to run towards the wall to go and peek it, and I run up to him like this. If he peeks the wall, or she, they're going to gun me because my crosshair is not where it needs to be. If my crosshair is up on body level, generally for this game, torso level is fine. Other games, headshot level is normally fine because you could one-tap people. In this game, you're really not going to be one-tapping anybody. So upper body level is fine when you're clearing buildings, stuff like that. There's just random things in Plunder that makes a lot of noise. Anyway, so when you run around, you want to make sure that you're not looking straight at the ground. Sometimes you'll kill somebody and you'll spectate them, and this is what you see. This is the POV. And you can generally determine somebody's skill level based off of their centering, because no matter how good your aim is, you can have shroud level aim and run around like this and you will get gunned in a ton of fights because of it. Because it's not, nobody's gonna pop out of the ground on you. So instead, a good way to run towards this wall would be running like this. You know what I mean? If somebody's gonna peek, they're gonna peek at the wall, and you're already gonna be aiming where they're gonna peek. So that's where your crosshair needs to be. Let's go into a clip review real quick and try to explain it a little bit better. All right, so let's get into the clip. In this clip, I've got 3 people on UAV. I'm hunting a bounty, and I know where everybody is already. So when I'm running up, my crosshair placement, my centering really isn't that good. And this is okay in some cases. It's good when you're first learning to always keep it, you're always thinking about it, always keeping your centering, centered where people could show up. In this scenario, I'm playing solo trios. All 3 of them are showing on the map, so I kind of let loose when I'm running up. You can see my crosshair is aiming near the ground when I'm slide canceling. And another thing I did want to talk about is weapon models get in the way a lot of the time. So sometimes you could argue that you watch streamers or YouTubers and they aim down their gun, but they don't look where people are going to be, and this is because their guns are in the way when they're looking where they want to look. So I'll show you a perfect example. When I come into this building, I aim purposefully low with my nail gun, because the nail gun, there's nails coming out of it. There's a massive block there where I can't see anything on this part of my screen. So I'm aiming purposely low so I could see what I need to look for and flick up to it, which, isn't generally what other people are going to be able to do every single time, but that's something you could definitely work towards. It's important to know that your weapon can get in the way of where you're aiming, and maybe using weapons that you're able to see more, like the Mac 10, where it's very small. The iron sights are really good, so you can always look. With this gun, it's awful. The iron sights are bad. It's also just been nerfed, so I don't recommend using it. I don't even have my loadout in this clip, but all right, so we'll go ahead and look. When I turn into this room, I've got him on UAV and I know where he's going to be, so I center perfectly when I turn around. It does help to know the layout of buildings, but yeah, I center perfectly. He ends up in my crosshairs and he dies very, very quickly because the nail gun has a crazy time to kill, or did. For the next kill, I know that he is in the building on the minimap, so I'm going to aim right where, again, it does help to know how the buildings work, where the doors are, stuff like that, but that's something you'll learn just by playing. Also reading the UAV correctly, where the arrows are. Another clip right here, I look straight up because that's the only place he could have been above, and get some easy kills basically just because my crosshair was aligned before I started the fight. If I were looking from the enemy's perspective when I started the fight, they probably weren't looking at me, and then that wasted a little bit of their time where they could have been already shooting me. So let's get into a clip about aiming. All right, so the way that I normally practice aiming before I start the stream, I probably play this for about 20 minutes or so, is I load into multiplayer. If you don't have multiplayer, you can use Plunder, but it just takes a little bit longer. So if you do have multiplayer, it's probably better. And this is a good way to aim train on, again, mouse and keyboard or controller. You go into a private match, a custom game. You could set a free-for-all. Normally I play on Speedball. You can play on any map you want. I set up a custom game mode, which I did talk about in the video that I covered movement on. So if you're really interested in, every single setting. Generally, if you put the health on 250 to mimic Warzone plates, you know you're in a pretty good spot. So I just put a couple bots on there, free for all. I load in, and so I normally practice with a kilo, and this is because when I first started doing this, the kilo was ground loot, but you could use any gun that you want to. The amount of bots doesn't really matter either. The duration of time is really specific to you. I normally don't play it for too long, and this is because I've been aim training for a really long time, and this is a very generic way to do it. There are other methods which we'll probably show in this video, Kovacs, aim lab, stuff like that for mouse and keyboard, but as an option for those mouse and keyboard and controller, this will do you just fine. So if you run around, you know, you don't have to slide cancel all crazy. You could just sit. You know, I don't put the bots at a crazy high difficulty. People normally come into the stream and they're like, yeah, you know, you're fighting literal bots when you're warming up. Well, the point is for me to get warmed up and not the bots. You know, I don't really care if the bots are shooting me or not. They could be running around and not even have a gun for all I care, because it's really about how good your aim is. You know, if the bots are killing you, it really doesn't matter, because they don't mimic what actual people shoot like. So that's just generally what I tell people. So, you know, you run around, you get a few kills, and doing this every day, like a little routine, it will really help you out. Let's show another way that you could use primarily for mouse and keyboard to aim train. All right, so let's talk about aim training on mouse and keyboard specifically. Right now we're on Kovacs, which is on Steam. Steam is like Battle.net, Epic Games, stuff like that, where it's like a game platform where you can get a bunch of games on it. So I have open Kovacs. There are other ones like Aim Labs that are just as good. I have a scenario open that's a flicking scenario where you go and you click each tile, kind of like this. I have a hand cam set up so you can see kind of what it looks like, and you try to do it without missing one. So you go and you get faster, and right now there's no like challenge to this. You just go and you do it as fast as you can. I used to do this a lot for Call of Duty. I don't do it as much, but for every other game, PUBG, Counter-Strike, I did it a ton, and I used to be really good at it. Now I'm pretty washed at it, but you go, you know, you go faster and faster as you go. But this is a really good way to train your aim on mouse and keyboard in Call of Duty if you've never done anything like it. It'll teach you a lot of the basics, flicking between targets and keeping your centering in the right spot, your crosshair in the right spot, everything. Now I'm just having fun with it. But yes, this is one of the scenarios that can really help you. Let's hop into one though that's tracking, which a lot of Call of Duty will be tracking. So I'll stop shooting these, and I used to be way faster, but that's what it is when you don't practice much. So I really should be practicing like I'm telling you guys now, so I'll probably do this more and more since I've just got on it and had some fun with it. So let's move to a tracking one real quick. Which one should we do? We'll try this one, just as the first one that says tracking that I could see. As it's downloading, we'll just talk about Kovacs in general. Kovacs came out a while ago. There are some really big streamers that are sponsored by them. I'm pretty sure Kaylee is sponsored by Kovacs, and Iron as well. They have like, you could follow their little like warm-up scenarios pretty easily. I'm unsure of why this is taking so long. Nice. Okay, so this is a tracking one. And a tracking one, basically tracking is holding your crosshair on a target left to right, or up and down, wherever they go. So the goal of this one is to hold your crosshair on the target and shoot them a ton until they die. And so basically, you know, the goal is to get 100% accuracy. They strafe differently, some jump and all that stuff, but as you do this, you'll be able to stick to your target more and more. The more you stick to the target, the more shots you're going to hit and the faster they'll die. And that's kind of the idea of a tracking warm-up. This is really the most beneficial thing to playing Warzone, because people have 250 health, and flicking, which is, you know, good in like Counter-Strike and stuff like that, which it is a fundamental that you should know. You should be playing flicking regardless of the game that you're playing, or training your flicking rather. Tracking is even bigger, where kind of like in Apex, people have a lot of health, so you're just holding your crosshair on them and waiting for them to die, essentially. The more you're able to actually keep on their body, the faster they'll die, and so this is a really good way to train that. So I do hope you were able to learn something today, whether it be crosshair placement, aiming, or centering. We do this type of content every week on Friday, so if you did like it, make sure you drop a like, comment, or subscribe. It would really help me out. We'll be back next week. Peace.